Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. I'm happy to be here with you at this awe-inspiring call to action summit to shape the world. And we are just emerging from the worst of the COVID pandemic, only to march straight into the global humanitarian and economic tremors caused by the Russia-Ukraine war. Not to forget that closer to home, Myanmar is still in political crisis, and recent news reports of world hunger is certainly not the picture of growth, peace, and solidarity that we are all hoping for post-COVID pandemic. Now, the new normal, all right, you close this evening. What an exciting speech by Chatty Caterpillar. Thank you very much. So you made me have a very tough job because, I'm going to start by telling us, okay, get back to reality. Now, the new normal certainly does not look pretty, all right? I'm from IBM for 33 years. 40 years later, from the 1980s, when John and I started our career, information technology was the new big thing, all right? Now, digitalization is the savior. Okay, no, there's a bigger savior, but you are not digitalized, you can forget it. But it transforms, but it disrupts, right? Every day you read in the news about scams. Climate change is an existential crisis, food security under threat, geopolitical tensions affect global trade, COVID still looming, and the next pandemic is a matter of when, not if. And then, of course, workforce and workplace is disrupted, which is causing some of those challenges that Chatty Caterpillar was talking about. And then Russia-Ukraine war claiming lives, tearing families apart, sending economies into recession. Now, with the new normal as a backdrop, it is more urgent than ever for all of us to make sense of the times and to think and act for the greater good of all. So I congratulate Councillors' team for bringing everyone together to inspire action to shape the world. And thank you, Lawrence, for inviting me to be a part of this summit. That like I said just now, I'm glad I made it back in time. Now, Lawrence has asked me to share my journey from IBM to Parliament. Well, like John said, you can calculate how old we all are. Wow, you will be here till midnight also, maybe the story not over. So, however, I reflected and discerned about what that has shaped my journey and thought I'll share this with you. That my journey has been mapped with what I am passionate about, and that is living my life to the fullest, which means being purposeful in whatever I choose to be involved with. And for me, I also feel very blessed that I am aware that who I am is God's gift to me. What I become is my gift to God. So I'm very happy to share a little bit of me with you this evening. Now, let me start with basics. For me, my family is my blessing. I have 4 daughters and a caring husband, a wonderful mother-in-law who turned 96 just last month, and a supportive extended family. Now, living my faith is my calling, and as Pope Francis in his book, Let Us Dream, said, we need a movement of people who know we need each other, who have a sense of responsibility to others and to the world. It's a tall order for each of us, but I guess we just have to be prepared to say, yes, I stand for this. Then, leadership at work and life is my vocation. All right, and of course, I have been asked in many occasions to speak, especially to women, International Women's Day in particular. All right, everybody wants to talk about work-life balance. So maybe for me, I say work-life effectiveness. Make your choices. And, even though I only caught some of the speakers, a lot of the messages you've already just heard from the other speakers. So for me, leadership at work and life doesn't mean that I don't wake up every morning dreading to go do what I have to do. I believe that life is too short for that. I believe in waking up each day to enjoy and be passionate about what I get to do, whether it's work or whether it's simply living. And then role model for others is my duty. I try my best to be a role model, especially for younger women. And to our young ladies, I say, we can have it all. Believe in yourself, don't let anyone tell you that you cannot do it, and go live your life to the fullest. Now, God did not call me to be successful, He has called me to be faithful. This is a beautiful quote by, of course, my role model, Saint Mother Teresa of Calcutta, which I hold dearly. I can't do what she did and has been doing, and I realized when I wrote it, I said, I can't do what she does, because it's true. She left behind the missionary of charities, and they are still doing, picking up the dead and the dying and the poor along the streets of everywhere in the world. Right? I can't do what they do, but I can do what I can with this same spirit. And in my life, I have seen that by my faithfulness, I have been blessed with many successes. I summarize some of my life's lessons learned with the following. Wrap the 4 I's and 5 C's with faith. I noticed how many C's you all have your C's. Yeah. All right, so, but for today, I'm not going to tell you about the C's and the I's. You all can actually read those words there. All right, but let me share with you a couple of lessons learned around RAP, R-A-P. R for resilience. Now, in 2004, I got a promotion to IBM Vice President, and accordingly, in IBM Vice President, big time thing. And then I was sent off packing with family and all on an international assignment to Beijing to run the PC business for IBM in Greater China. I was doing great, and the team was bringing results like you have not seen before, especially post-SARS. When I was told that we had been acquired by Lenovo, a Chinese company, and I was part of the sale. Can you imagine? Sent off to China, that time is still hardship, whole family and everybody, and then you are sold off. All right, suffice to say that I was devastated. We imagined the worst that could happen. It was a burning platform that I was standing on. And if you go read the Chinese newspapers, because of course everybody wanted to interview me, it says, 红月霞哭得过去. Okay, so I cried all the way there. All right, so I contemplated quitting and throwing in the towel and coming back to Singapore to look for another job. After a lot of discernment, thinking and praying, I decided to view it as a mission instead of a trial, and to be part of history in the making of taking a Chinese company global. To cut the long story short, my 4+ years with Lenovo was an assignment that IBM could not have given me. I was part of the global leadership team that took Lenovo onto the world stage, turned a loss-making business profitable, and had the honor of running in the 2008 Olympic torch relay in Jinkanshan, China, and made some very dear friends along the way. I learned that we are resilient by design. Our Creator actually has made us resilient. But we do need to make a decision to act with resilience or to flee. Or, I didn't write here, but worse still, just to be and then nag, complain, and be unhappy for the rest of your life. All right, so I thought I'd share that story of R with you. Okay, A. A is for adaptable. Now, I'm sharing 2 pictures here that speak to the same thing. We need to be adaptable in whatever we do and in whatever circumstances we may find ourselves in. Whether it's to do the dishes for the entire camp team, when the picture on the left, when I was the chairwoman of the orientation camp for that year, or to sing for fellow IBMers at a 100% club recognition event. We all have to be adaptable. All right, so which means have in your portfolio different things, different areas, different interests, and that's also one of the ways to keep our mind going. I do have one caution, and that is, while being adaptable is a plus, we should be mindful that our values and our integrity are not compromised. So, segue from my speech. I was in China for many years. When I first went to China, everybody told me, Jan, you need a bodyguard. I say, why? They all know that you are in town to clean up, all right? Stop the whatever monkey business, and therefore you better need a bodyguard. So you can imagine I was scared, all right? And I know and heard many people say, you got to adapt and do what they do. I say, no, you don't do what they do. I had a business partner who told me, 洪总,清水养不了鱼. All right, so for all my non-Chinese speaking friends, that says, clean water the fish cannot survive. I told them, then you go find fish that can survive in clean water. All right, so I guess, for adaptable, that will be the lesson that I will share with you. Now, P is for purpose. I know your C is for cost-driven, okay? All right, same thing. That means if there is a cause, there is a purpose, things get done. So, for me, I humbly say I put purpose at the heart of what I do by beginning with the end in mind and being guided by my faith values. Of course, for each one of us, we do whichever way it works for us. Now, I believe the end in mind itself must be purposeful, considering what is important to all stakeholders and not just what is important to me. Now, I am blessed to have worked for IBM, a leader in the IT industry, and certainly a leader in business. So for the most part of my first half, my purpose revolved around creating value with innovation that matters to business and to the world, as that was principally what IBM is all about. Now, whether it's ensuring that people keep up with the skills needed to apply the technology, or that systems are implemented to take advantage of what the technology can offer, or that society recognizes the importance of building ethical, trusted systems based on transparency, accountability, and responsibility, these are what I have been passionate about all through my career at IBM. I am past the half-time in my life and retired from IBM after 33 years. It has been a great run in my first half, and I must admit that when I stepped out of the executive limelight, I did experience an identity crisis moment. Who am I now that I don't have a title, IBM Vice President, to identify myself with? What is my big purpose in the second half? Well, I feel blessed that I am able to, as you have seen in some of the photos here, to contribute to society in meaningful ways based on my background as IBM leader in both business and tech, my international experience having lived and worked outside of Singapore for more than 10 years, and my years of volunteering, whether with the Catholic Church in partnering the less fortunate when I was at Caritas, teaching the young people, or singing with the choir, or my serving on boards and committees of education institutions, public service agencies, or companies, or my championing for women advancement in their careers and on boards, or my advocating for businesses to create social impact and purpose for society with the profits they make. So I'm one heart with you. Now, in whatever ways, in whatever milieu. Okay, take a moment to look at this beautiful picture. Out of nowhere, I hopefully give you the beauty and the awe of creation. All right, so what I'm trying to use this picture to tell us is that in whatever ways, in whatever milieu, I believe it is important to think about the bigger picture. About ourselves, for our families, our community, our country, our world, our planet. Now, we may wonder, what can one person do to impact anything? Well, think about what our founding fathers, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew and his pioneer generation, have done, one person at a time, to build this Singapore that we are blessed to inherit. What will be the Singapore that we want to leave behind for future generations? What will be the world that we want for generations after us to live in? We have to start thinking of the bigger picture, one frame at a time. Now, indulge me as I share a quote by Singapore Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Mr. Lawrence Wong, at a dialogue with young Singaporeans just last Friday on June 17, and I quote, "Embrace a life of purpose," he challenges the young people. "Channel your passion and idealism to tackle issues you care deeply about. Singapore needs you to be an active citizen and change maker. Each and every one of you has a key part to play in writing the next chapter of the Singapore story." Unquote. I believe that his call of action should resonate for everyone as you consider how our collective attitudes and actions can shape the bigger picture, can change the world. And in shaping the world, corporations play a key role. Corporations need to rethink their purpose. As we all know, Milton Friedman's philosophy of that the return to shareholder is the king of all things. Frankly speaking, okay, I hope that we all realize we're missing the point. Right? Thomas Watson Jr. of the IBM Corporation once said, and that's back in the 50s to the early 70s, corporations prosper only to the extent that they satisfy human needs, deliver the cause that was in one of the 4 C's of Consulas. And profit is only the scoring system. The end is better living for us all. The end must be better living for us all. Companies exist to solve the problems of people and planet with profitable solutions. It is therefore imperative for every company to know its purpose, its cause, to achieve its purpose in a commercially viable way. Its purpose is the reason that they are in business in the first place. Just like John talked about education, right? The purpose of informatics in those days. So when there is a purpose, that's how the company thrives. Now, business and society are mutually dependent. If the solutions are not profitable, the problems of society will not be addressed in a sustainable way. So profit is key to the fulfillment of a corporation's purpose, but profit is not its purpose. So having a clear purpose helps the company build credibility and trust between the company and its stakeholders, whether employees, suppliers, customers, community, regulators, and in turn creates value and mutual benefits for the ecosystem. So for organizations to be purposeful, it cannot just be about short-term profitability, but stakeholder value and long-term sustainability. There is an increasing recognition amongst companies all around the world that, to quote Larry Fink, ultimately, purpose is the engine for long-term profitability. Now, in this regard, I must give credit to Lawrence and Consulas who have been true to their purpose in living out the paradigm of an economy of communion, their way of saying corporate social responsibility. Now, let me close by returning to where I started at the beginning. We are living the new normal. What needs to be in the new normal as part of the new normal? We need to transform to leverage digitalization securely and safely. We need to care for our common home as climate change exposes the inevitable realities caused by years of neglect and even abuse. We need to build trust to ensure globalization remains good for all. We need to be ready for Disease X. We need to put purpose back into the business of corporations. We need to learn gratitude and humility. What are the mindset changes, the attitudes, the principles, the change management at individual, organizational, and societal level needed so that we don't let the new normal happen to us, but rather lead and shape the new normal into a better world, a better place for all? How important it is, therefore, to dream together. Carpe diem, seize the day. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a nice evening.